Hello, welcome back, track fans global. Indeed, we are here to continue our series 5 in 1. Now, this is episode number 3. Right, I'm sorry, track fans global, that episode number 3 takes so long. Right, wanted to drop this episode a long time ago, but life happened. Right, and so I'm here still to continue the series. In today's video, the 5 athletes that we'll be looking at is 1. Tia Clayton, Jamaica. 2. Henriette Jaeggar, Norway. 3. Letsile Tebogo of Botswana. 4. The South African Lythe Pillay. And last but not least, the St. Lucian Queen, Julian Alfred. Now, I'm sure you're gonna stay with me to the end of this video, and I'm also sure that Track Fans Global will do me a favor, and that is to like, subscribe, and indeed share. Right? Let's get into it. Tia Clayton is one of the twin turbo, as in she and her twin sister Tina Clayton is the fastest twins that ever lived. And in case you don't believe, check the stats. Right? So Tia Clayton this year, so far, she had run in the Miramar Invitational, running a 16.87 seconds in 150 meters. Right, for a Tia Clayton, that's a very good run, because Tia Clayton is not generally known for running anything fast over 100 meters. Right, and so that was a very good run. When Jamaica actually take the clean sweep on that day, she finished ahead of Brianna Williams and also her twin sister Tina Clayton. Right, Tia went on from there in the season to drop at 10.91 seconds in 100 meters, right, at Velocity Fest in Kingston. Right, that is actually her fastest time, as it were, of the year. Right, she haven't run much this year, right, but at the World Relays, she was part of that world record breaking team that actually run 39.62 seconds. Now with that run, Jamaica become the only country that has ever run the mixed 4x1 under 40 seconds. Right? So she was very instrumental in that 4x1, and so she can classify herself as a world record holder. From that time until now, she hasn't raced much. Right? I don't know if it's an injury concern of sorts, right? But she hasn't been racing much. But Tia Clayton is indeed in good form. Now, when you look at Tia Clayton, she has not won much on the global scene, but her potential is there. Right? She's one of the top athletes over the past 3 years in the women's 100 meters. Right? And to tell you something fascinating, Tia Clayton probably at one time, and this is ciphering from what she has said, she might have become discouraged. Because if you look at the trajectory of Tia Clayton and Tina Clayton was always the one that was winning the global championship. She was the world junior champion. She also took the silver medal last year in the world championship. So Tia for a time, right, was kind of discouraged, but Tia pretty much has caught right up to Tina in terms of talent, right? And so Tia, we look forward to what she will continue to do for this year, right? Because I know that down in the future, right, she, along with Tina, right, is a major part of Jamaican sprinting. Now, Henriette Jaeggar is a very young athlete, right? For those who don't know, Henriette Jaeggar is actually 22 years old. And when she was 20 years old, she made the Olympic final in the 400 meters. In that same year, She ran her 300 meters in 35.46 seconds, just 0.01 of the European record of Irina Privalova. And when I say Irina Privalova, that's good company to put your name right beside, right? And that was when she was 20. But this year, right, she come ever so close again to the European record in the 300 meters. She actually run 35.49 seconds. And when I saw her run that, I was thinking Henriette Jaeggar possibly have 48 in her this year. Last year, her fastest time in the 400 meters was actually 49.4 something, right? And she was consistent all through last year, running 49.5, 49.6, 49.7. She was one of the best athletes last year, and she actually made it to the World Championship finals, right? But at the World Relay, she confirmed to me that she might be able to run sub 49 this year, because in an historic win by Norway in the women's 4x4, Henriette Jaeggar and the ankle leg, she actually split 48.98 seconds. That's very impressive. So looking at that, I'm thinking it's only a matter of time right before she will be able to run a 400 meters in sub 49, right? And I look forward to that because she's supremely talented and a very young athlete. If they manage her well, right, she might be one of the major forces to reckon with in the world of 400 meter sprinting. The 2004 Olympic champion in the 200 meters, actually the 5th fastest athlete of all time in the 200 meters. Now, when I think about Letsile Tebogo, I think about him exactly how I think about Gabby Thomas. What do I mean? Gabby Thomas run the 100 and the 200 meters, but she has great potential in the 400 meters. Same with Letsile Tebogo. You run the 100 and the 200 have great potential in the 400 meters. Now, I believe strongly that Gabby Thomas should be running the 400 meters. Same way I believe strongly Letsile Tebogo should be running the 400 meters. Now, why do I say this? If you look at Letsile Tebogo's progression from the time Cali, Colombia, 2022, when he was still a junior, his time, which is still the world junior record, was 9.91 seconds. Now, he did this 9.91 seconds, easing up the last 10 to 15 meters from the line. That means if he had pressed through, probably could have run 9.89, probably 9.88 as a junior. Now, from that time, 2022, until this time, 2026, Letsile Tebogo's 100 meter has just improved by 0.05. That is less than a meter of improvement, less than a tenth of improvement, right, for Letsile Tebogo. But then you look at his 200 meter time, it has dropped significantly. You look at his 400 meters time, and it has dropped exponentially, right? He has gone on to run 400 meters in 44.2 as a man not training for the 400 meters. That shouldn't be, right? So if he really takes the 400 meters serious, he could do great things in it, because he had split 43.0 already in the 4x4 in the 2024 Olympics, and also split 43.0 again last year in the World Championships. So yeah, he's supremely talented, and if he takes up the 400 meters serious, he could actually do great things in it, right? In the world relays, something happened to Letsile Tebogo, which I call the sprinter's curse. And the sprinter's curse go a little like this. When you're a short sprinter, a 100, 200 guy, running against 400 guys, you try to look for an advantage over them, which naturally your advantage is you're faster than them. And so what Letsile Tebogo did in that 4x4, he tried to blow the cap of those guys in the first 200 meters in the world release. And he paid for it dreadfully. And paying for it dreadfully make Botswana run 2 minutes 54.42 seconds. That is just 0.13 of a second of the world record. And in that race, Letsile Tebogo split far worse than he could have actually split had he gone out carefully in that 4x4. And so probably the 4x4 world record is unmatched. And Letsile Tebogo will be learning that the splinter's curse, it's a real thing. It's a dangerous thing. It's something that make you don't get world records. So I'm sure he'll stay away from it for next time. Right? But for now, Letsile Tebogo is a great athlete, superb athlete. Anything you put him to run, he will be good at it. Right? So I look forward to the rest of the season, what he will be doing. Right? Even though he's kind of struggling this season per se, but he's still a great athlete in good form. Lythe Pillay, the South African man. This guy, this year he became the South African champion once again, running 44.32 seconds. At one point that was a world leading time in all the world. But so far other guys have passed that, right? But what he did in the 4x4 in the world release, he was actually on the same leg as Letsile Tebogo. And when you watch the video, you can see him coming from behind and passing Letsile Tebogo on the home straight like a runaway train. And in doing that, he actually split 42.66 seconds unheard of. The only man to have split less than 43 seconds in a 4x4 before is actually the great Michael Johnson, 43.18 second runner. Now, when he split that time of 42.66, I was estimating that Lythe Pillay sometime in the season might be able to run a 43.6 to 43.4. So far, he has not been able to do that yet, right? But if he can find back those superhuman speed, those superhuman guts, that superhuman effort that run down Letsile Tebogo, then we can see him running some 43.5 and 43.6. But let's see how the rest of the season goes, because so far in the Diamond League circuit, it's not been explosive. So I don't know if it's an injury concert of sort, but the South African is one athlete we have to keep our eye on, because he might be able still to do great things. When you talk about the word dominance, certain athletes come up, and Julian Alfred name ever come up, always come up, will be in every conversation. I've never seen an athlete have such a dominant career as a Julian Alfred. Right? She makes winning races and running fast time look so easy. And I say this because most athletes that I have seen, Julian Alfred, have been running sub 22 like it's nobody's business. I've never seen people run sub 22 so consistent, apart from her and Shericka Jackson and probably Merlin Ati, right, and Alison Felix. People just don't run 21 seconds so regular, right? And Julian Alfred has been running sub 22 for fun, so much so that this year, right, in the Monaco Diamond League, Julian Alfred dropped the third fastest time of all time in women 200 meters running, 21.51 seconds. It was a dominant victory, right? And now that starts to put off bells in our head that probably Possibly, she might be eyeing now the world record, because when you start to run 21.5, 21.4, 21.6, right? Only thing you're thinking about now is getting that world record of 21.34, because running those sort of time, not much people will be able to beat you. So Julian Alfred might now shift her focus to focusing on trying to get that world record, because when you're in 21.51 shape, the next thing is world record, right? And so I look forward to what she'll do for the remainder of the season, because she's in supreme form, right? Her 100 meters, I expected it to be further than what it was. And in her last track meet, right, in Zagreb, right, she actually ran 10.87 seconds. Right, to me, it looks like she eased off, right, at a certain point when she realized she was far ahead of the field. She just eased off and cruised right into the line, right? So I look forward to when Julian Alfred run again, because Julian Alfred, when she does run, she's dominant. And I keep using the word dominant because not much athlete can win races in the way she does. Right? She's one of the most talented athletes you would see. She's very rare. And why I say Julian Alfred is very rare is this. If you notice her ability to start, her ability to generate power, and her ability to close in the 200 meters, that's not even normal. Most athletes that are very explosive, right, say like Christian Coleman, or Kaylin Walker, or Maurice Green, these athletes typically are not able to hold form well over 200 meters. Even as Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, the pocket rocket, she was very explosive out of the blocks. But holding a full 200 meters, she wouldn't hold it well. That's why Julian Alfred is so dangerous. And that's why competitors should fear. Because she has the rare combination of explosiveness and the ability to hold her form. And I think that comes because of how she used to train and compete here in Jamaica. And even when she was at university, Julian Alfred would put herself on 4x4s and she would run 400 meters in meets. That helps you as a sprinter to develop top end speed over 200 meters, right? Because first it gives you a psychological advantage that I'm used to running 400s. So to run a 200, I'm not dying there, right? And of course, you running over distance that you actually run, your body will eventually warm up to the idea of going hard, right? And see 200 meters as nothing compared to a 400 meters. And that's why Julian Alfred stay ahead of the game, right? And anyone that want to come and join her at the top of the game will have to find a way to train along those lines, right? But I look forward to great things from said Julian Alfred. And all the athletes that we have looked at in this video, right? These are great athletes that we should look out for, right? And so without much talking, that's where Track Fans Global is going to finish today. And remember again, track and field from Jamaica to Pakistan. You understand? Once again, I'm out.